Hi everyone, this is Arnie Bedonia, a BS Psych 2A student, and my topic is all about Filipino mythology. Philippine mythology is derived from a Philippine folk literature, which is the traditional oral literature of the Filipino people. This refers to a wide range of materials due to the ethnic mix of the Philippines. Each unique ethnic group has its own stories and myths to tell. The country has many islands and is inhabited by different ethnic groups. Philippine mythology and superstition are very diverse. However, certain similarities exist among these groups, such as the belief in heaven or kalangitan, hell or impyerno, and the human soul or kaluluwa. The mythological figures, including deities or the supernatural being like gods and goddesses, or in the Filipino context they call it anitos and dewatas, heroes and other important figures. In anitism, vary among the many ethnic groups in the Philippines. When we say anitism, it is the ancestral religion of one. Anitism is the ancestral religion of different ethnic groups. Or when we say ancestral religion, for example, hamin ni siya ang ginapatihan tanga dahil kung mapatay ang isa ka tawo, gabalik pa ang iya nga kaluluwa sa aton life, kahit it's either nga mahatag siya dako nga impact or mahatag siya sorte or bad luck. Each ethnic group has its own distinct frontman of deities. Each ethnic group has its own distinct pantheon of deities. Some deities of ethnic groups have similar names or association but remain distinct from one another. The mythologies and indigenous religions of the Philippines have historically been referred to as anitism. Other terms used were anitismo, a Hispano-Filipino translation, and aniteria, a derogatory version used by most members of Spanish clergy. Today, many ethnic peoples continue to practice and conserve their unique indigenous religions, notably in ancestral domains, although foreign and foreign-inspired religions continue to influence their life ways through conversions, intermarriage, and land buying. A number of scholarly works have been devoted to anitism and its various aspects, although many of its stories and tradition have yet to be recorded by specialists in the fields of anthropology and folklore. And there are two significant sources of Philippine mythologies. First is the oral or folk literature. Oral literature consists of stories that have been or still are being passed down from one generation to another through oral means such as verbal communication. All sources of Philippine mythologies are originally oral literature. As oral literature is passed on verbally, changes in stories and the addition of stories with the passing of time are natural phenomena and part of the evolving dynamism of Philippine mythology. Despite na damo na may nag-attempt nga i-record or mangita evidence sa aton oral literature, mas majority gyapon nga properly documented ang mga stories sa Philippine mythologies, which is like ang atong mga mga kwentong aswang o mga istorya sa aton lolo or lula halin pa sang una kag ginistorya pagyapon sa subong. And this oral tradition were intentionally interfered by the Spanish through the introduction of Christian mythologies in the 16th century. Some examples of such interference are the Biag di Lamang and the tale of Bernardo Carpio, where the names of certain characters were permanently changed into Spanish ones. Resurgent ripples of interest towards oral literature in the Philippines have sprung up since the 21st century due to sudden interest among the masses, notably the youth, coupled with various media such as literary works, television, radio, and social media. Lastly is the written literature. Literature consists in part of the oral tradition that has been committed to writing in the form of manuscripts or publication. Written literature includes novels and poetry. It also has subsection of prose, fiction, myths, novels, and short stories. Nearly all known peoples now or in the past have produced and passed it from one generation to another. And some examples of written literature are the story of Bakunawa and the Seven Moons and the story of Tambanukano, which have multiple versions depending on the locality, people, ethnicity, origin of the story, and cultural progression. And that ends my topic for today about Filipino mythology.